Hello fascinating friends, today we're going to study the areas of parallelogram, rhombus and trapezoid. Let's go! First of all, imagine you take a rectangle and you kick it. Boom! Now you have a parallelogram where two sides are parallel and the other two sides are parallel. You must see that not for kicking a rectangle, the area will change. So if you kick that rectangle, the area will be the same. So the formula for a parallelogram is, here you have a base, and to know the height, you must climb the shape and to throw a rope. No matter where, but you throw a rope that is going to form a 90 degrees angle with the ground. So the area of a parallelogram is base times height, like a rectangle. If you're not convinced, you can take this triangle and put it here. And you see that if you pass this triangle there, you have a rectangle. That's why the formula is base times height. For instance, if here I have a base of 10 centimeters and here a height of 5 centimeters, the area will be found replacing the B and the H. 10 times 5 equals 50. And remember, it is very important, if you are talking about area, centimeters squared, or inches squared, or miles squared. But it is very important, this little 2, in order to say that we are talking about areas. After that, we're going to see how to calculate the area of a rhombus. First of all, we have to say that a rhombus has all sides with the same length. If you have a side of 4 centimeters, here 4 centimeters, 4 centimeters, 4 centimeters. And you have two sides, two parallel sides, and two parallel sides. Here, we're going to identify a diagonal and another diagonal. Diagonal 1, for instance, diagonal 2. And what's the formula? The formula for the area of a rhombus is diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 divided by 2. But why? If you take the diagonal 1 and you put it here, and you take the diagonal 2 and put it there, can you see? We have a rectangle. The formula of a rectangle is length times width, or base times height. But here, if we have a rectangle, we have to cut the corners to get a rhombus. And if you see carefully here, you have a small rectangle divided by 2, divided by 2, small rectangle divided by 2, divided by 2. That means that we are dividing all the shape by 2. That's why you take the area of a rectangle and you divide by 2, because you are cutting the corners exactly by 2. Then if, for example, diagonal 1 measures 10 centimeters and diagonal 2 5 centimeters, you replace diagonal 1, diagonal 2, and the answer will be 10 times 5 divided by 2, 50 divided by 2, and that is 25 centimeters squared. Very, very important, the square, because we are talking about areas. Finally, we're going to talk about the area of a trapezoid. A trapezoid has two bases, base 1 and base 2. And if you want, you can climb the shape and throw a rope to know the height of the shape. But how to calculate the area of a trapezoid? Well, imagine that we take the same trapezoid and we draw it, but like this. Can you see? Here we have base 2, which is the same. And here, base 1, which is the same. And here, the same height. So, we have the shape of a parallelogram. So, the formula will be the same for this shape. The area will be base times height. But here you have base, but for the base we have to add base 1 plus base 2. Base times height. But wait a second, we have two trapezoids and we want only one. So we are dividing it by 2. That's why the formula tells us that we are going to divide it by 2. It is very, very important to memorize it with the shapes of two trapezoids, because it is very easy to remember. The formula of a parallelogram is the same. So the base, this plus this, times height. Like here, base times height. But we have two trapezoids. That's why we are dividing by 2. For instance, if here we have 10 centimeters, 5 centimeters, 5 centimeters, and 7 centimeters, we are just replacing letters, and that's it. The area will be base 1, 10, plus base 2, 5, times 7 divided by 2. So the area will be 15 times 7 divided by 2 equals 52.5 centimeters squared. So please remember, for a parallelogram, base times height. For a rhombus, diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 divided by 2. For a trapezoid, base 1 plus base 2 times height divided by 2. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel. See you next time.